So in the post-fight interview, obviously, I think based on what Canelo said, based on what Eddie Hearn said, based on the line of questioning, it looks like Canelo's goal next is to fight Caleb Plant. And to be able to say that he has all four belts at 168 pounds, first unified super middleweight champion, or undisputed super middleweight champion, and would definitely be the first undisputed super middleweight champion from Mexico. Caleb Plant's a really good boxer, right? He's very technical. He's very up on his toes. He knows how to counterpunch real nice. He's got good head movement. He slips punches. I think his movement around the ring is really good, but sometimes for me, it borders on running to where, not running, but it's almost excessive to where he doesn't have to go all the way to the other side of the ring. He could just create a little angle. The movements are too big. You know what I mean? And for me, I always really love watching him fight. I think his game is really clean, and he's a handful for anybody at this weight, anybody. But the thing about Caleb Plant, to me, that I'm always noticing, is every fight he's in, he gets caught at some point. Even that last fight against Truex, where, obviously it's obvious that he's a much better fighter than Truex. That, frankly, he's in a different class. And even in that fight, he gets caught. And I'm not even saying just like, oh, he got hit real quick. Like, he always gets caught with something big and clean at some point. And it's weird for somebody with that level of defensive skills to get caught like that. And I don't know if that's like mental lapses with focus, if it's just, I don't know what that is. But for somebody with his level of defensive ability, or it's a conditioning thing where he's getting tired after the eighth, but he always gets caught with something clean, like real clean. So for me, it's like if he gets caught clean the way he gets caught against Truex, from Canelo, I would imagine that he's going to get stopped, right? I mean, it seems pretty obvious. And I don't think I just don't, I think for 5 or 6 rounds that Caleb Plant can tactically give him some problems, but I think it's a similar kind of deal with Amir Khan. Obviously, Plant isn't notorious for that kind of chin, but if you're notorious for getting caught, Uskadagi, whoever, getting caught with something clean, Canelo is going to be the guy to find that something, and it's not going to take long. So, and the other side of that too is, and I've been critical of this before as well, I just don't think Caleb Plant has fought very good opposition overall. He's had a handful of good fighters that he's had to beat, but you look at the mandatories he's fought, you look at his last 5-6 opponents, there's really nothing that interesting on there. There's nobody, first of all, there's nobody that's in the top 10 in the weight class other than Uskadagi. He's just not fighting his contemporaries. So I think for him to go from Caleb Truax and the German guy, to Canelo, he's not going to fight Benavidez. He's not going to fight Charlo. There's no other, I'm talking top level guy that he's going to get in with before he fights Canelo. I think it's just going to be like a level shock to him, to where it's just been so easy for him. Maybe that's why he's been getting caught, is because it's too easy for him. He's not challenged, and so he gets too relaxed. So maybe against Canelo he'll be a little sharper, but I just think if you're a guy that gets caught and gets caught in most fights at some point, and this is by far the best guy that he's been in with, by far. At least Billy Joe Saunders had a handful of world-class fights prior to this where he's fighting top 10, top 5 guys in the weight class. Plant doesn't really have any of those fights. And I don't think that he's had to answer those questions against other guys, and to have to answer them against Canelo, I think is going to be too much.